Zondervan presents Flickering Pixels, How Technology Shapes Your Faith by Shane Hips, read by the author.
Introduction. Hidden Pixels. I instinctively grabbed for the dashboard. The car was careening toward a sudden U-turn curve in the track. I glanced at the driver, expecting him to hit the brakes and avert catastrophe. Instead, he yawned. The car rocketed into the corner as my heart leapt to my throat. Breathing is overrated. The car glided smoothly in and out of the turn as if it had prepared its entire life for that moment. Afterward, the driver apologized for not going faster. This was part of my research for the new ad account I was working on, Porsche Cars. The people at Porsche had taken us onto a racetrack to develop an appreciation for their product. And apart from nearly soiling my drawers, it worked. My role as an advertising account planner was to serve as a kind of consumer anthropologist. That's the sanitized description. More accurately, my task was to hijack your imagination, brand your brain with our logo, and then feed you opinions you thought were your own. You're welcome. Much of what I did involved unearthing private, exploitable data from consumers' lives, what we called the quote-unquote leverageable insight. An effective ad tries to tap viewers' most intense and emotional experiences, the trigger for all consumer impulses. My job was to save people from feeling impotent and unattractive or powerless by offering them a Porsche, which promised to fix those problems. I'm a slow learner. It took me a few years to realize that I was actually promoting a counterfeit gospel. Before you start judging, you should know that I never offered cheap grace. The gospel, according to Porsche, will set you back between $80,000 and $150,000, depending on how much salvation you need. Shortly after my awakening, I committed career suicide. I turned my back on a lucrative and enjoyable career and entered seminary. 4 years later, I accepted a call to serve as a pastor of a Mennonite church. The emotional and spiritual whiplash was as bad as it sounds, yet the experience led me home. The conversion began as a result of my own ambition. In an effort to sharpen my ability to manipulate the masses while I was in advertising, I stumbled upon a thinker who had been considered irrelevant for decades. He was an obscure literary professor who studied media and communication in contemporary culture. During the 1960s, his cultural predictions earned him a place on the covers of Newsweek and Life. It was said his, quote, theory of communication offers nothing less than an explanation of all human culture, past, present, and future, end quote. The New York Herald Tribune breathlessly declared that he was, quote, the most important thinker since Newton, Darwin, Einstein, Freud, and Pavlov, end quote. His name was Marshall McLuhan, and chances are he's the most important thinker you've never heard of. I began to read McLuhan's Understanding Media, which took a wrecking ball to my worldview and became a penetrating alarm that awoke me from my slumber. I was given a vision of what my profession was doing and undoing in our culture, and it wasn't pretty. As I continued reading, I learned something even more important. McLuhan's insights about human culture and communication had profound implications for the Christian faith. Christianity is fundamentally a communication event. The religion is predicated on God revealing himself to humanity. God has a habit of letting people know something about his thoughts, feelings, and intentions. God wants to communicate with us, and his media are many. Angels, burning bushes, stone tablets, scrolls, donkeys, prophets, mighty voices, still whispers, and shapes traced in the dirt. Any serious study of God is actually a study of communication. And any effort to understand God is shaped by our understanding or misunderstanding of the media and technology we use to communicate. This book explores the hidden power of media and technology as a way to understand